guys, so as promised, here is the other chapter for this week. This is me after recording everything, so I'm just going to mention really quick that towards the end of the chapter, there is going to be like a little shouting match going on, and I think I get like kind of loud in it, so I'm just gonna put like a little chapter there so you guys know when to maybe turn down your headphones if that's what you need. If it is still too loud for you, please let me know. I'll figure out a way to fix it. I don't know how as of editing, but if you tell me, I'll try my best to figure it out. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Perfect Sun by That One Guy with That One Ship. Read by Munchin on Machika. Chapter 12. Vanilla. The morning passed without further incident. Sun and Lusamine spent the day together around the foundation. Lusamine felt so much more comfortable with Sun now. It was as if fucking him had told him that he was her property, and she'd never let him go. He still wasn't fond of others being close to her, but he could tolerate it without wanting to be near her himself. Now, when she caught him staring, it was a purely admiring look rather than a possessive one. She wanted him again, wanted to enact her fantasies from earlier. However, Lily and Gladian were on their way, and that meant her time alone with him would be cut short. She just wanted a quick... Son, she addressed him suddenly. She had been feeding some of the water-type Pokemon while he stared into the water, waving at them as they swam up. He glanced at her. Yes, Mother. Before your brother and sister arrive, would you like to go to the mansion and maybe we'll spend some more time together? She made sure there was nobody within earshot before speaking the potentially incriminating words. Sun didn't seem that eager, surprising Lusamine. Maybe later. Mother, I'm really excited to meet them, he explained. He blushed lightly and resumed looking at the Pokemon, hands behind his back awkwardly. Lusamine wasn't even slightly upset by his refusal. She would still get plenty of pleasure and excitement from Sun meeting Lily and Gladian for the first time. How they'd see him bathed in her identity. How she'd forced a part of herself into him and had control of his every thought. How she was all he loved, like how they should love only her. Okay, Sun, we'll wait. Lily and Gladian would be difficult to manage. She wanted to be alone with Sun, but she couldn't leave them by themselves. And if they were left all together, Sun, Gladian, and Lily, those two would try to hurt Sun, make him ugly. That could not be allowed. Sun, she drew his attention back to her. Please be careful around your brother and sister. They're both liars, and they're both dangerous. I tried to make them good, but they ran away from me. From you. You're my perfect boy for a reason, Sun. Sun nodded vigorously. Oh, be careful. Something told Lusamine he would still unconditionally love them like he did her, but she wasn't worried about that yet. Sun, if they lie to you, I want you to tell me right away. Okay, Mother. He hadn't stopped smiling since she announced they'd be meeting Lily and Gladian, and she didn't think he would until they arrived. Mother, do you think they'll like me? I don't know, Son, she said. They're not perfect like you are. I think I'll like them. A twisted idea crossed Lusamine's mind. Son, could you wait for us in the mansion when they arrive? I know you want to see them as soon as possible, but if you wait, I'm sure they'd be surprised to see you after all this time, she suggested to him. Sun didn't look sold on the idea. Maybe, he said. He shuffled nervously. I want to see them fast, though, like you said. And when did I last see them? Maybe Lusamine could see about putting some very specific false memories into him to fill in the blanks. Oh, when you were very small, Sun. Lusamine imagined what it may have been like to hold Sun as a baby, watch him grow and become perfect. The black-haired, dark-skinned Sun was a faraway dream now, eroded from her memory. Her Aether Sun was his true form, like a bug type, from larva to chrysalis to a new, beautiful body. Larvae, his first form, before she ensnared him in her soft, loving protection, lay him down and worked the magic of science on him to help him evolve. What others called her complexion, the light, almost pure white skin, the toxic green eyes, the shining blonde hair, was simply the next step of evolution. She wanted to believe Sun was always her, born from her, grew from her. She noticed in her thoughts she had gone on autopilot and started stroking his hair. He loved it when she did that. She could tell by his blush. He was so cute in both behaviors and physical appearance. His little odd quirks of acting like Pokemon from time to time, never actually acting as if he was one, but more the body language he had picked up from them, and his ability to seemingly change between a childish mindset and an adult one at will, were so sweet and interesting to watch. He seemed so at ease beside her, and he had been willing to change was the most beautiful part. He had the opportunity to escape and didn't take it. She stopped petting his head and put an arm around his shoulders instead. He allowed her to pull his body closer, playing with the transparent gold outer rim of her dress. Do you think they'll remember me? Sun asked. Oh, yes, but not everything they say will be the truth. Just ask me if you have any doubt. Yes, Mother. Lisamine's phone began to ring, which meant it was at last time. Time for it to come full circle, for Lily and Gladian to see Sun in all his glory. We're here, Miss Prez. I'll be down to the dock in a few moments. Tell them I'm on my way. Sure thing, Miss Prez. Lusamine tapped the screen, then turned back to Sun. Okay, Sun, do you want to come with me to meet them, or do you want to wait at the mansion? I'll wait at the mansion, he said decisively. I'll give you some time together. Lusamine cooed. You're so sweet, Sun. I shouldn't be that long. You can make it to the mansion by yourself, yes? Yes, Mother. Sun was familiar with Paradise by now, and it was specifically built to be easy to navigate. He gave her a quick hug, and she leaned down to kiss him on the cheek. See you later, he called cheerily as he went over to one of the elevators and pressed the button. Lusamine did the same, but instead of descending to the ground floor, she went to floor D, the docks beneath the main platform. She recognized the ship Guzma always sailed on instantly and made a path towards it to the myriad crates and the containers being delivered. The three of them were waiting. Guzma, with a brutish grin on his face, held Gladian and Lily by their forearms. Lily looked fine, but Gladian was covered in bruises, and one of his eyes looked swollen. Not her problem. Lily bowed her head at her mother's arrival, Gladian staring right at her. So, you two, Lusamine began, trying to sound incensed and failing miserably, coming out more as amused. She wanted to fast-forward life until the two were introduced to Sun again. Us two, Gladian echoed. His tone of voice was bored.
Shut it, kid,
Guzma growled.
Miss Perez.
Thank you, Guzma. You're a reliable ally. All she had to do was flatter Guzma using words he probably didn't understand, and he'd remained under her control. I'll see to your reward shortly.
Always a pleasure, Miss Perez.
He smacked Lily and Gladian on the back, pushing them towards her. Always. Guzma wouldn't leave until she had taken them away. Naturally, she crouched down to get to eye level with them. You two. You may not have cosmic or null or anything else I could use, but you're here again, and that's all that matters. She smiled widely. Gladian and Lily both looked confused. Come with me now. I have a surprise for both of you.
I'm not going, Gladian growled. I've had enough of being played with.
You don't even want to see? Lusamine asked, still grinning. Come now, Gladian. If you're not interested, I'll let you leave before the end of the day. That took Gladian off guard.
What?
Yes, if you're not happy here, I will let you leave. Guzma, if you could wait here until the evening, I'd much appreciate it. Lusamine watched Guzma's reaction. First, anger at being told what to do, then elation at the word appreciate. Again, she wasn't sure if he actually understood it.
Yeah, Miss Perez. Yeah.
He climbed onto the back of Team Skull's boat.
I'll sit here then.
Now, you two, interested? Neither nodded, but they both followed her when she moved. The last few paces to opening the mansion doors were so very exciting. How would they react? How would Sun see them? It'd be interesting to observe. Placing her hand flat on the door, she pushed it open, with Lily and Gladian in tow, her new son waiting on the other side. Son? Lily had cried and rushed towards him. You're okay!
Hi, Sun greeted awkwardly. I'm Sun, your brother.
His usual smile was gone, replaced with a weaker substitute. He was nervous. What? Lily asked. What do you mean? What happened to you? Lusamine spoke for him. This is Sun, your brother. Gladian was frozen in the doorway, and Lily had stopped in a middle distance in front of Sun, as if the horror of his metamorphosis had just hit her, as if she'd only just noticed that he wasn't quite Sun Elio the way he had been. Our, Gladian repeated. Now Sun was observing Lily like she was an exhibit in a museum, circling her, glancing up and down. What do you mean he's our... Lily began, but stopped herself as Sun stepped in front of her again, up close. He was staring into her eyes, unblinking. She brought her arms to her chest in an automatic defensive reflex. Sun is your brother, Lusamine said simply. He's not. Sun had moved past Lily and was now staring at Gladian, who had spoken. He's not our son. You're not... Sun laughed. Gladian, just because you don't recognize me doesn't mean I'm not your brother. He gave Gladian a hug, still smiling. Gladian couldn't describe the emotion. It went miles above disgust, and it was more than pity. He wanted to hug Sun back because it still might be Sun in his mind. But Gladian couldn't move. He looked down at the pure white of Sun's shirt, and it chilled his blood to know that Sun had become a doll for Lusamine to dress, the same way he and Lily had been. Lusamine was more than happy with how Sun had reacted. He liked them, and they seemed reluctant to interact with him. This was for the best. You two must be hungry, Lusamine began. She'd force them to take in all of Sun's new shape, all of his new ways. Why don't we have something together? Lily and Gladian reacted as she expected them to, the former with a look of fear, the latter with a scowl. Sun, however, nodded, still smiling widely.
Yes, Mother.
Sun, Lily squeaked quietly, tears in her eyes. He was alive, but he wasn't himself anymore, and that was worse. This was something different. If she was to see Sun again, she would have wanted it to be the real Sun. She wanted to go around all of Alola with him, wanted to learn how to battle with him. He'd promised to teach her. Was he even still the same? Sun, she said after a deep breath. Are you... She didn't know what to say. Are you really, Sun?
Yes,
He said simply, and Lusamine nodded.
So, Gladian said, abrasive and offended by his mother's adoption of Sun. If we look in the labs, we're not going to see Sun frozen while this...
He gestured to Sun, who was poking at his hoodie.
Joke prances around?
Sun paused.
Huh? Joke? I'm Sun, silly. And I've never been frozen either. Ice types like me.
He resumed playing with Gladian's hoodie, pulling the hood over the teen's head. Gladian brushed him off impatiently and pulled the hood back down. Gladian, don't be so rude, Lusamine scolded as Sun lost interest in the boy clad in black. Lusamine watched him jog back over to Lily and hug her. He looked giddy with happiness. Sun, she laughed, please calm down for a moment. Sun let Lily go and put his hands behind his back in embarrassment at being told off. Gladian and Lily were both looking at him in a sort of morbid fascination. They didn't say anything more, but Lusamine knew they got the message. Sun was hers now. She underlined it by waving him over, holding his hand and drawing him against her, both of them smiling at the siblings. Welcome back, you two. Lily had been moved back to her room. Gladian would be bunking with her now that his room was Sun's. The siblings both sat down at the bottom of Lily's bed.
I'm leaving,
Gladian said. Lusamine's offer still stood. They could leave whenever. The reason she had made this offer was clear now. It weighed on them the rest of their lives if they decided to abandon Sun to her. And even worse, Sun didn't want to leave. He adored them both. He'd been nothing but kind to them when they were eating together, and even Lusamine had seemed amicable. No, Gladian, you can't.
That's her plan, he hissed. She wants us to stay. She wants us to see Sun as an example. I'm not staying. I can't.
Gladian, we have to help him. Lily knew there had to be a way. There must be. Gladian, we owe it to him.
Lily,
Gladian's usual scowl slipped back into an expression of defeat. He looked crushed.
Lily, I can't do this.
His voice was close to tears now.
Lily, I never wanted to come back here. I don't want to be here. I can't do this.
Lily held his hand. She'd never seen him so vulnerable. Sun needs our help, Gladian.
Who's going to help us?
Gladian said, voice hoarse. Lily didn't have an answer.
I don't want her to dress me up. I don't want to wake up at 7 a.m. and go to bed at 8 like some kid. I don't want her to tell me I'm useless. I don't want to learn the life cycle of the fucking...
He smashed his arm against the wall, making a loud thumping noise.
Pukumuku! I don't want to find out about horrible experiments. I don't want to be her toy. I don't want to be a part in any of her life. Let Sun do it. He loves her. You've seen how he acts.
They had. Sun positively fawned over their mother, And she was petting him every 5 minutes like he was a loyal Pokemon of hers. He may not be the son we knew, but he's happy. Should we really ruin that? Gladian's words made a sense, but they also made Lily angry. You're giving up on him? It's our fault, Gladian. We owe him his life back now. I know it's our fault, Gladian screamed. His worst fears had come true. They'd been usurped by reality, and the horror of it was offering. Son wasn't dead. It was far, far worse. But I can't fucking do it, Lily. I don't. Fine. I'm staying. You can go. She let go of his hand. She was furious. Gladian looked at her and saw the conviction that wasn't usually present. She had a stony expression and refused to look back at him. Lily, Gladian muttered, I spent my whole life afraid of. Then go, Gladian. Go away. Go back to Kuki and Nebby and Null. Go back to Alka Island or Unova like you wanted to. Forget about Sun and forget about me. Why don't you just go? Lily was shouting now, her voice shaking. Go and forget all of us. Just relax on some beach in some region far away because you're scared. I'm scared, but I'm not giving up on my best friend. Not now, not ever. Gladian was left reeling from her verbal beatdown. Lily, shut up! You really are our mother's daughter, Gladian shot back. It was incredibly harsh. Lily acted as if he just slapped her. Because I'm not a coward? Because I can see that you're being one? I'm not trying to guilt you. Yes, you are. I'm telling you, if you don't care, leave! They sat in silence. Both of them regretted the things they'd said. I'll stay, Gladian said. I'll stay. Good. He never expected this from Lily, but she was right. They had to try. I'm sorry. Me too. So that was chapter 12. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed reading it, because wow, it was such a good chapter. I really wish AO3 lets you leave kudos on more than once on a story, because it sucks. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I cannot wait for the next chapter next week.